Welcome to this News 9 special. We look at the top stories of the hour at this moment and give you the latest updates on what's happening across the country and the world. Well, let's take a look at what's happening in Anantnag, the news that has been dominating, especially from the morning. In the latest coming in from Anantnag, one more soldier has been killed in action and two others have been injured as the counter-terrorism operation continues in that particular region. Remember, it's been there for almost 3 days that this encounter has been going on between security forces as well as the terrorists who have been holed up in that particular forested area. It is being said that all efforts are being carried out to ensure that they can comb the area and at the same time to bring the terrorists who are holed up in the forest area from their advantageous positions out from that region. It is being said that explosions have been used, and also at the same time there are efforts to use mortars as well as bazookas at certain areas where it is being bombarded at a level so that the suspected points of advantage that these terrorists have been happening, especially at heights which they have been used to in fact shooting the soldiers on the ground, well, it can become disadvantageous to them, and therefore heavy weapons are also being used at the same time to target the terrorists. This is the fourth casualty that has been reported from the Indian side as the security forces remain vigilant, and it is being said that all efforts are being carried out to weed out these terrorists who are holed up in the Garol forest area. The army and the state police have launched this joint operation to ensure that these terrorists are removed from that particular region. It is also said that there were intelligence reports and inputs coming in from the human intelligence network as well, that there is terrorist movement that was located in that area, and this resulted in this joint action being taken by the state police as well as the army. Now on Wednesday, it is also being said that 3 officers on the Indian side were killed after they came under the heavy gunfire. The soldiers who had been killed in action are Colonel Manpreet Singh, Major Ashish Donchak and Deputy Superintendent of Police Humayun Butt. These were the people who had been killed during that operation. The mortal remains of Colonel Manpreet was brought to his hometown in Panchkula as the nation bid farewell to the fallen hero. Now, the funeral was attended by the former Chief of Army Staff, General V.P. Malik. It was a tragic yet proud moment for the Colonel's 7-year-old son, who was dressed in army fatigue. And well, those visuals show the boy standing next to the body of his father and saluting him and giving him the final salute. Earlier in the day, Major Ashish Donchak was also given a very emotional farewell. That was the salute by the Colonel's son, and here we have Ashish Donchak's family also giving an emotional farewell in his hometown of Panipat. Hundreds of people had gathered to capture the last glimpse of the army officer who had laid his life for the country on line of duty. Hundreds of people had gathered, and some of them shouted saying that the memory of the army officer will be kept eternal. A lot of people had gathered in from Panipat, and as the funeral procession in fact moved, hundreds more joined in at the gathering. Bharat Mata Ki Jai slogans rent the air as the body of the slain soldier was being brought to his hometown, and hundreds of people did gather in to pay their respects to the soldiers who had fallen in. This encounter has been going on for almost 3 days, and still the operation is still underway. It is being said that the terrorists have holed themselves in certain advantageous positions in that location, and the operation is jointly being carried out by the army as well as the state police as well. These are visuals coming in of the funeral ceremony that was given to the officers. One of the most moving images of the day has been the 7-year-old son of Colonel Manpreet giving him the last salute. Well, you can see the boy who was dressed in army fatigue beside the body of his father, and relatives surrounding the place where hundreds of people had in fact gathered, and the tragic moments that could be seen, and the 7-year-old boy in army fatigue giving the final salute to his father. There you see it, the most emotional farewell being given out by the 7-year-old. Well, the Nipah scare is something that we are also closely monitoring. It is being said that one more case of that virus and infection has been reported from Kozhikode in Kerala. It is being said that the sample of a 39-year-old man has turned out to be positive. Now, the risk about this is that the person is said to have been in the same hospital where the index cases were in fact reported. The first 2 cases of Nipah were reported, and the person is said to have had the symptoms of Nipah, and he did approach the health authorities. Already there is a huge blockade that has been put across some of the panchayats. 9 panchayats have had containment zones, and health workers are monitoring the population in all the 9 panchayats round the clock. It is being said that all efforts are on to trace the contacts of all the 6 patients that have been associated with the index cases that were in fact reported from that region. The man is also under observation in the hospital where apparently the Nipah positive affected people were treated for other ailments earlier. While the total cases of Nipah virus now stands at 6, active cases stand at 4 after 2 more people had died due to the infection. ICMR DG Dr. Rajiv Bal has said that steps were taken to contain the virus in the early stages itself. So let's listen to what else Rajiv Bal had to say when it came to this particular aspect of the containment that has been put in place and also the strategy employed in containing the Nipah virus.
इसको कंटेन करने के लिए सारे इस वक्त सबसे ज़्यादा कोशिशें केरला गवर्नमेंट, एनसीडीसी, आईसीएमआर, एनआईवी सब लोग लगे हैं कि उसको कंटेन किया जाए. तो अगर तो कंटेन हो जाता है तो वो तो बहुत ही हमें करना ही है उसको कंटेन, तो इसको आगे नहीं बढ़ने देना है, यही इशू है.
Well, a 2-day holiday for all educational institutions has been declared in Kozhikode, and the authorities shall review the situation on Monday. The holiday shall be applicable to all professional colleges and madrasas that are also associated in that area. Now, it is being said that the strain of the virus this time around seems to be a strain that is mostly found in Bangladesh, and that is what is spreads from human to human and has high mortality rate as well. However, one good aspect about this particular strain, what many of the experts are saying, is that it is less infectious. Now, the government is now closely studying the route maps of all the Nipah victims. The contact list of patients, well, it was 700 yesterday, has now jumped to 950, out of which 213 people are being considered to be high-risk category. The health minister has directed to seek police help to trace the contacts of those who have tested positive through mobile locations. Let's listen to what Kerala's Health Minister Veena George had to say regarding the situation on Nipah in her state.
39 വയസ്സുള്ള ഒരാൾക്കാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ നിപ്പ പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ട് സ്ഥിരീകരിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. 39 വയസ്സുള്ള ആൾ. അദ്ദേഹം ഈ പറഞ്ഞ ആദ്യത്തെ 2 കേസുകൾ, അതായത് മരണപ്പെട്ട 2 വ്യക്തികൾ ചികിത്സ തേടിയ ആശുപത്രിയിൽ ചികിത്സയ്ക്കായി പോയിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ മറ്റു വിവരങ്ങൾ ഇന്ന് അല്പസമയത്തിനകം മീറ്റിങ്ങിന് ശേഷം പറയാം. ഇദ്ദേഹം ഇപ്പോൾ മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജിൽ ഐസൊലേഷനിലാണ് ഉള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് സിംറ്റംസ് ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സാമ്പിൾ പരിശോധിച്ചത്, അതിൻ്റെ കൺഫർമേറ്ററി ടെസ്റ്റ് നടത്തിയിട്ടുള്ളത്. നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സർവേയുടെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടെത്തിയത് കൂടിയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം ആദ്യമൊരു എപ്പിഡമോളജിക്കൽ ലിങ്ക് ഇല്ല എന്നുള്ള നിലയിൽ അദ്ദേഹം കൂടി അപ്രോച്ച് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു നമ്മുടെ സംവിധാനത്തെ. അപ്പോൾ ആ നിലയിലാണ് വന്നത്. പക്ഷേ പിന്നീട് ആ രീതിയിൽ ലിങ്ക് ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളത് കണ്ടെത്തുകയായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ വ്യക്തമായ കാര്യങ്ങൾ മീറ്റിംഗിന് ശേഷം പറയാം.
Now, ahead of the 5-day special parliament session, which is to be held from the 18th of September to 22nd September, the central government has directed all its ministers to be present in the House. Now, the BJP had issued a 3-line whip to all its MPs, asking them to be present in the parliament during its special session and to support the central government's efforts to push through several contentious bills that is set to be prepared. Now, though there is the agenda has been said, it is being told by the opposition circles that there's a possibility that something could be added at the last minute, which could be the surprise in the session that is coming ahead. Now, sources are also saying that the special session of the parliament is something that Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi had asked all the ministers to be present, and that too for all the 5 days. Now, there is a departure from this aspect of asking the ministers to be present for all the 5 days. Now, normally when the roster is usually assigned for the ministers, it is normally for 4 hours of parliamentary duty, but this time they have been asked all to be present during all the 5 days of that session, raising the importance of that session and at the same time asking questions as to what could be the bills that could come up for discussion. Meanwhile, the opposition has asked a lot of questions as to what could be on the agenda. As I said earlier, some of them suspect that at the last moment something could be added. The union government had cleared the agenda of the special session recently, but the opposition seems to be unconvinced. Moving on, now Karnataka has petitioned the central government saying that it is impossible for the state to release 5,000 cusecs of water for the next 15 days. Now, this is based on the orders of the Cauvery Water Regulation Committee that Karnataka was asked to release that 5,000 cusecs of water. Now, what Karnataka is trying to say is that in its prime reservoir, especially in the Cauvery region, the water level is so low that it does not have enough to look into the basic needs of the southern basin region of Cauvery itself. So in such a situation, releasing more water would only affect the state completely. This is what Karnataka has been saying that when it comes to a distress here, Karnataka finds it very difficult as Tamil Nadu goes ahead and approaches some of these water distribution authorities, and they tend to get a favorable order. But the reality is that during a distress year, there should be a distress year sharing formula, and that Karnataka should in fact be given a patient hearing on this. Meanwhile, several areas in the state have also been drought hit, and they have declared it as well. It has been asked that the central government should intervene in the matter as well.
See, Cauvery issue, this year there is a scanty rain. You have not received good rains this year. This is a very bad year as far as Karnataka is concerned. Particularly in Cauvery Basin area, there is no water in the reservoirs. We have no water to release to the Tamil Nadu as per the orders of the Supreme Court. That's why we are requesting the Government of India and also the apex court of the country to modify the orders passed by the Karnataka Water Regulatory Committee.
Well, the Karnataka government has also decided to mount a legal challenge against the CWRC recommendation in the apex court. It has said that it will follow whatever possible methodology is available legally to go ahead and present their case, saying that it's a distress here and they do not have enough water in any of the reservoirs, especially as rains in the catchment areas have failed. Let's listen into what D.K. Shivakumar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, had to say when it came to the Cauvery row.
As far as Cauvery is concerned, Yes.
Cauvery is concerned,
Yes.
we have made it very clear. We are very open to Tamil Nadu. We want Tamil Nadu farmers to be happy. At the same time, we want our farmers to be protected. Only at the time of distress, these problems has happened. Last year, we had a rain. Instead of 177 TMC of water, we have given 64 TMC of water. Water has flown to the sea. That is why we are telling that the only solution is make that. So Tamil Nadu has to make up a broad mind, not to disturb. It helps them. They are not able to understand that situation. They know, but still they are opposing it.
Meanwhile, the BJP has hit out against the Siddaramaiah government, saying that Siddaramaiah government has only approaching the centre and is not working in the interest of the state. It also went on to say that the Cauvery water has already been released by the government, which has already affected the standing crops in the basin area of the region. And therefore, it looks like Karnataka is on the backseat. Meanwhile, the politics around this is also affecting the Congress, as DMK is a key ally of the INDIA bloc, and therefore the BJP has been harping on that is Karnataka's interest being sidelined for the INDIA interest when it came to sharing the waters of Cauvery with Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, BJP leaders have also hit out at Siddaramaiah, saying that being the chief minister of the state, what is the action that is being taken other than writing to the authorities in the centre? Well, still staying with Karnataka, there is another issue that is boiling in the state, and this time it's regarding the Idgah Maidan in Hubballi. Now, the BJP has launched an indefinite agitation on the issue of installing a Ganesh statue at that Idgah Maidan. Now, this particular Maidan has seen the Supreme Court saying that it can be given to other religious activities as well. Now, the municipal corporation is yet to take decision on that particular issue. Member of the Legislative Assembly, Arvind Billard, has been spearheading a request on the part of the BJP council members as well in that region to install Ganesh statues for Ganesh Chaturthi at that Maidan. However, since no response had been coming in from the municipal corporation, Arvind Billard, along with the BJP leaders, are now staging an indefinite strike at the HDMC corporation, is what we understand. Now, it is also being said that the commissioner, municipal commissioner Ishwar Ulangadi, is to give the permission for the festivities at that venue. He argued, especially when it comes to the issue about it, it is being said that keeping the sensitivities on the ground, a decision will be taken. But however, there seems to be the BJP going ahead and saying that unless a decision comes in, we have two BJP MLAs, in fact, coming to the area and saying that they will continue with the agitation. Now, the Idgah ground in Hubballi was caught up in decades-old dispute. Now, this dispute runs from 2010, when the Supreme Court held that the ground is exclusive property of the Hubli-Dharwad Municipal Corporation. Now, the apex court had granted permission for prayers to be held twice a year and not to build any permanent structures. Now, there is being said that this particular area was given on a lease to a particular community, and this resulted in permanent structures coming to the place to which the case was filed, and it had been going on in the Supreme Court, and said that this property was finally under the ownership of the municipal corporation, and the permission on this will also lie with the municipal corporation. Now, let's listen into what Karnataka Home Minister G. Parameshwara and Congress leader Priyank Kharge had to say about this entire issue.
We have left it to the local authorities. All these permissions to install Ganesha, Gauri, you don't want?
Yes, sir.
Ganesha and Gauri, the permissions will be accorded by the local authorities. You know, it's not the government's responsibility to give permissions. The local authorities, based on the local situation, they will do it.
Denial is when you ask something and it is not given to you, and if they have written it for saying that we cannot give, that is called denial. Where have they denied it? Can you show me any document?
Denied permissions.
Where is it, ma'am? Where have they denied permission? If there is a document that says that we have denied permission, I can comment on it. As of now, there is no denial of any of such of the permission. So I don't think I should be commenting on it.
Well, staying with Karnataka, the government of Karnataka has made it mandatory for students and teachers at all educational institutions of the state to read the preamble during the morning prayers. Now, this is a new move that has been put by the Karnataka government. It has been saying that it will try to instill the principles of the constitutions in the students. So, this is the manner in which they've decided that during the assembly at schools and colleges, along with the prayer and then the national anthem and in some places the state anthem, after which there will be a reading of the preamble. So the preamble's values will also be inculcated among students. So this is the strategy they had come up with. The students are also expected to take an oath to adopt and incorporate these principles laid in the constitutions in their life. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah attended a reading of the preamble near the Vidhan Soudha as they made it mandatory for this aspect.
ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಉಪಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಡಿ.ಕೆ. ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರೇ, ಸಮಾಜ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಸಚಿವರಾದಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್.ಸಿ. ಮಹದೇವಪ್ಪ ಅವರೇ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಚಿವ ಸಹೋದ್ಯೋಗಿಗಳೇ, ಶಾಸಕ ಮಿತ್ರ, ಮೇಲ್ಮನೆಯ ಸಭಾಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದ ಬಸವರಾಜ್ ಹೊರಟ್ಟಿಯವರೇ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಹೋದ್ಯೋಗಿ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಪವಿತ್ರವಾದಂತಹ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲ್ಗೊಂಡಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಿರಿಯರೇ, ಪುಟಾಣಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ವಿಶ್ವ.
Well, there's some disturbing story that is coming in right now. It is being said that fire broke out in one of the coaches of the Dahod Anand Memu train at Jakot station in Gujarat's Dahod district. What we understand is that reports are coming in which it says that it could be because of some kind of incident that could have taken place inside that particular train. You can see the coaches are on fire. According to reports, the train, which serves short and medium distances routes, was going towards Godhra when the incident had taken place. In the video which surfaced online, you can actually see the kind of fumes and smoke that is coming in from the coaches. It was burning as the efforts by the railway authorities and the fire force personnel was to in fact douse it. They immediately connected the hoses to the available points of water in that location and they tried to douse the coach, but then it has, in some cases, it had been completely burnt. Now, it is being said that the passengers rushed out to safety once they saw that smoke was emanating from the coaches, and casualties have not been reported as of now during this incident. Firefighters have rushed to the place and they've been able to bring the situation under control, and an investigation has been ordered by the railways into what could have been the cause of this fire. This is the visuals coming in from the Dahod where the train has been completely burnt. Well, news coming in from Nuh and its violence. Congress MLA Maman Khan has been sent into a 2-day remand by the local district court in connection with his alleged involvement in the violence which happened in Haryana's New district in July. In that period of time, it has been said that hundreds of people had gathered. Stone pelting was reported, and the yatra which was carried by the VHP was targeted, especially by stone pelters who had taken up to the heights and they had thrown the stones. It was being said that the local administration did fail to gauge the mood from the social media during that period. Now, Khan's arrest was carried out by the special investigation team of the Haryana police. The police was seeking a 7-day judicial custody for Khan in order to carry out further investigations. Now, a 2-day remand has now been granted to the police when it comes to Maman Khan. The police have asserted that it possesses a phone call records and other substantial evidence which support the allegations against Maman Khan.
धारा 144 लगाई गई है, वो सुरक्षा व्यवस्था और शांति व्यवस्था को देखते हुए लगाई जाती है। तो लोगों से मेरी अपील है कि जो प्रशासन के कानून के निर्देश हैं उसी के अनुसार कार्य करें, अपने घरों में रहें, ज़्यादा कोई कहीं भीड़ इकट्ठी ना करें।
Meanwhile, the police are looking at the sensitivity of the situation. They deployed a large number of personnel, and a section 144 was also imposed throughout the district of Nu when the arrest was made. Now, the internet services have also been suspended in the district for 2 days in view of the arrest. Till now, 330 people have been arrested and close to 60 FIRs have been filed in this particular case. Now, on July 31st, the violence had erupted in Nu when a procession was carried out by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad and it was attacked by a mob. 6 lives were lost in those clashes. Let's take a look at some reactions coming in on this.
दंगे हुए थे, उसमें जांच चल रही है और कानूनी प्रक्रिया है। अगर इसमें जो भी कोई आदमी लिप्त पाया जाएगा जिसने हरियाणा प्रदेश के भाईचारे को खराब करने का काम किया, उस पर कानूनी कार्रवाई होगी और कानून अपना काम कर रहे हैं। एमएलए भी आम नागरिक है, कानून से और इस देश के संविधान से बड़ा कोई भी नहीं है, और अगर गलती की है तो उस पर कानूनी कार्रवाई बनती है, वो कार्रवाई होगी।
Well, there is more tragic news coming in from Libya, which was battered by flash floods. And because of Storm Daniel, the entire country, especially its coastal cities, have been completely devastated. More than 11,000 people are believed to have died in the recent flash floods that devastated Libya's coastal city of Derna. Now, the mayor of Derna has said that he fears that up to 20,000 people might have perished in the port city. What we understand is that the Red Crescent and Red Cross volunteers are saying that in their estimates, at least more than 11,000 people have died in the city. Thousands more have been displaced and entire city blocks have been washed into the sea. The tragedy has been intensified by the bursting of 2 dams that has not been maintained for almost 2 decades. The dams burst under pressure due to the rainfall from the storm Daniel. The United Nations has also warned that in certain cases there could be a possibility of disease breaking out because of contaminated water being used by the people there, as all sources of drinking water has been affected in Derna. The World Health Organization, meanwhile, has released $2 million to help with the emergency effort at rescue and rehabilitation. These are in fact the visuals that show the kind of tragedy. Power lines have been completely destroyed and roads have been completely swept away in the flash floods in Libya. The tragedy is still unfolding. Concrete houses have been filled with silt. Many of the city blocks and neatly lined up streets are littered with vehicles that have been completely damaged. In many parts, it is being said that foundations of homes have also been eroded completely. Derna, which is a port town, took the complete beating of the storm Daniel. The storm resulted in heavy rainfall in catchment areas of the river that passes through Derna, and this resulted in the breaking of the dam. Initially, the upper reach dam was broken, because of which the water flowed towards the second dam, which couldn't contain it, and that also collapsed, creating the kind of flooding that we see in Derna. The damage is extensive and Libya is yet to be politically stable. There are two rival governments that are functioning in Libya, each of them at war with each other, and at the same time the coordination and rescue efforts have also been completely affected because of the political rivalry on the ground. Now, shifting focus to our neighborhood, Pakistan. Well, that country might be in the midst of a severe economic crisis, but it is not stopping from increasing its nuclear stockpile. That has been one of the big worries that have come out after a group of scientists in US have tracked commercial satellite pictures and claim that there is an effort by the Pakistani state to increase the number of its weapons that it holds. It is being said that Pakistan at the moment could be holding around 170 nuclear weapons, but at the same time the commercial satellite pictures that have been accessed by the group of scientists show that Pakistan is actually building more launchers for its nuclear delivery systems and is also building infrastructure to house them. Scientists have come to these conclusions based on the study of these satellite imagery and other open source material. As per the report, Pakistan currently has, as I said, 170 nuclear warheads, and based on the current rate of expansion, this number could increase to 200 as early as 2025. Scientists involved in the study are saying that Pakistan is estimated to producing enough fissile material. The fissile material means the weapon grade uranium or plutonium that Pakistan is producing is called the fissile material, and this material is enough to build around 25 warheads per year. So an increasing arsenal, a failing economy, and at the same time a threat to international peace. Now, in 1999, the US Defense Intelligence Agency had projected that Pakistan would be in possession of 60 to 80 warheads by 2020, but the current numbers show that it has far exceeded that prediction that was made by the US intelligence community, and this new study pegs that number far above that predicted number of 60 to 80. Pakistan's nuclear arsenal at 170 indicates that South Asian nation has been working in secrecy to boost its nuclear capabilities. Pakistan, meanwhile, has been suffering economically. Pakistan's domestic market is technically on the verge of collapse. Despite all this, it tried to secure a loan from China as well as from the Gulf countries and the West, but then had to settle for a bailout package from the IMF with strictures. But however, those strictures seem to be not working, as most of the money seemed to be pumped into its secret nuclear military complexes. And this study that was being made by the group of international scientists in the United States, after going through all the open source software as well as satellite imagery that they were able to access, they have come to the conclusion that Pakistan is still expanding its nuclear material and making bombs that would become a threat for the whole world if the state collapses. Meanwhile, there is a lot brewing between the Russians and the United States. It is being said that Russia has gone ahead and expelled 2 diplomats for allegedly being in touch with one person who Moscow is in fact maintaining as to be a person who has been an informant to these diplomats. Now, how Russia has done it, they have said that both these diplomats are person non grata. This in fact forces both of them to leave within a week. The United States has condemned the expelling of its diplomats and has said that there would be a tit-for-tat reaction on this. The Russian national who is said to have worked in the US mission and is accused of being the informant. It is being said that Jeffrey Sillin and David Bernstein have been declared as person non grata and have to leave the country within the week. The United States has condemned Russia's decision and is expected to take retaliatory steps against Russia and its diplomatic corps. The ties between both the nations have nosedived, especially after the Ukraine war. The West, led by the United States, has been backing Ukraine. Ukraine President Zelensky is also in the United States, trying to pledge for more aid in the war effort against Russia. Russia has had very frosty ties with the West, especially after the war had broken out, and Russia has been asking NATO to stay away from its periphery, and with the possibility of Ukraine becoming a nation state that would go into the hands of NATO, Russia says that it had no other choice but to open up a front in Ukraine. Well, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited an aeronautics factory in Russia's Far East on Friday. The visit to the factory, which also produces military equipment, comes days after Kim Jong-un met Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Kim's visit to Russia's Far East comes as US officials and experts have said Moscow is interested in buying North Korean ammunition to use in the conflict in Ukraine, an arms deal that would defy global sanctions. Now, North Korea is already an outlawed country when it comes to its international relations, and Moscow has been facing issues with its ammunition, especially when it comes to the Ukraine war. Moscow has in fact tried to circumvent the sanctions that have been imposed on it by trying to have deeper connections with North Korea. North Korea has a robust military complex which is being taken advantage of by the Russians, and also with it being an international pariah state, the sanctions that have already been put against Russia does not affect it when it comes to a military deal with the North Koreans. Kim Jong-un is said to have gone in his famous green train to Russia and to the coastal city where the talks were held by Kim Jong-un as well as Vladimir Putin. It is being said that Kim Jong-un would also be looking at some kind of tech transfer in modernizing his air force. Meanwhile, there is some kind of a news that would interest science enthusiasts coming in when it comes to the discovery by Chandrayaan-1 and Chandrayaan-3. High-energy electrons from planet Earth might be forming water on its satellite, the Moon, is what some scientific data coming in from Chandrayaan-1 and Chandrayaan-3 tend to speculate right now. Earlier, it was found that the high-energy beams coming in from the sun was in fact responsible for the formation of water in the region, but that's not the case. We do have the high energy beams coming in from the Earth also being responsible for the formation of water on the Moon. The Moon does not have an atmosphere, and it is open to striking of solar flares as well as space radiation on its surface. It is completely unprotected. The surface is unprotected when it comes to the smashing in of asteroids, and as well it is catered, and therefore there has been a keen interest as to understand the formation of water, and now it is being speculated that it's not only the sun which is responsible for the formation of water on the Moon, but Earth too. High powered electrons coming in from the Earth is also responsible for the formation of water on the Moon. Closer home, in an unfortunate incident, 4 people were killed and 5 others were critically injured when a service lift collapsed in an under construction high-rise building in Noida. The incident occurred around 8 in the morning at the Amrapali Group's Dream Valley project site. Now, it is being said that as investigations continue on it, it is being said that the construction workers were using this lift on the 14th floor when its suspension cable broke and the lift collapsed to the ground. The district magistrate has informed the officials have taken the stock of the situation, and the case of tragic incident will soon be known, is what they have said. The injured, however, has been taken for treatment at a hospital nearby, and investigation, as I said, is being carried out to find out what could have led to this. The cable is said to have broken, resulting in the collapse of the lift. and the people coming crashing down. Now, this lift was being operated at the 14th floor when the cable is said to have crashed. Well, moving on, rescue teams have stepped up their efforts to save people from the devastating Moroccan mountain villages as chances faded for finding survivors from the last week's earthquake, which killed around nearly 3,000 people. Now, it is being said that several people have become homeless because of this earthquake. Most of the constructions that were there were made from simple boulders and clay. It did not have pakka constructions as seen in many places. It was traditional method of architecture and building that was used. Most of them did not have the wherewithal to stand the earthquake, which resulted in collapse of entire villages and homes. It is being said that at least 3,000 people have been rendered homeless, and this is also becoming a worrying factor. Vehicles that were packed with supplies have also been finding it difficult to move through the mountain roads to deliver the much needed medical supplies and food to the survivors, as this is the biggest earthquake that has there in the recorded history of Morocco. Now, it is also being said that the King of Morocco has held a meeting to ask the officials to speed up the process to alleviate the suffering of the people who have been displaced because of this earthquake. Smaller earthquakes are still rattling the disaster zone, and it is being sending stones falling at the village in the area of seismic activity is what we understand. Meanwhile, teams are still... We slip into a short break now, but stay tuned for News 9. We will be giving you the latest on the other side. We keep track of all the news that goes beyond the news in News 9.
BrahMos, stealthy, lethal, precise. It flies at 3 times the speed of sound and cuts through a warship like a hot knife through butter. China's navy has threatened its neighbors, and they are turning to the BrahMos for protection.
Economy, the role which Karnataka plays in the sphere of politics and culture. It's the growth story of Karnataka, and on this note, let me introduce our guest, former Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Ashwath Narayan. A very warm welcome to you, for making time for News 9. Let me start this conversation. Has Karnataka met all its developmental goals?
I didn't get you.
Has Karnataka met all the developmental goals?
Definitely, in comparison with many other states and many other countries, yes, there are some good developmental goals which has happened, but we got to go a very long way when it comes to the terms of benchmarking particularly in the terms of quality education, quality healthcare, quality governance, good governance, or the good infrastructure. It's a long way, but somewhere to one extent there is a satisfaction, but we need to go a long way. We need to perform, we need to have a lot of clarity, we need to compete, we need to prioritize the good system so that it should be very easy to access, easy to get services. So this kind of enablements and facilitation can go a big way, but it's a big challenge. We need to keep pursuing.
BJP was in power for 10 years, 2 separate full terms. Now Congress is again in power. So in terms of legacy of last 5 years, what do you think is the foremost legacy which continues in this government in terms of economy?
As a state, Karnataka, irrespective of governments,